24 euros for a fucking shot. Yeah. Sorry, you w***ers. And one day, me, Mike and Claire, down in the basement of Manumission, watching all the chicks change and put ping pong balls up there, as you do, you know, on a Monday night. Basically a massive party. Norman, you know, Fatboy, Slim, all these guys wanted to play. But that VIP area was full of fucking VIPs. You know, proper VIPs. Like, I'm introducing my DJs to Dr Dre, Mick Jagger, Jack Nicholson, all these guys. They'd be in the VIP. Now you've got fucking VIPs everywhere. Show me a VIP. It's pathetic. You're taking pictures of people spending 20 and 30 grand on a bottle. Why is that fucking interesting? Can somebody explain to me?
Have you ever got yourself into trouble on the island?
Oh yeah.
You beat the shit out of him? A copper?
Well, I've been shot. We've had massive fights. I've seen people thrown out fucking multi-story car parks and
Was there a point when Pacha would just turn complete commercial? Like, I'm not feeling this anymore. Vaughan, welcome to the show, mate.
Big thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic,
absolutely.
Mate. Been looking forward to this one for a long time. Heard a lot about you, Vaughan, a lot about you. Let's roll all the way back. When was the first year you came to Ibiza?
I came to Ibiza in 1982 for a 1-week holiday, just to see a chick. And yeah, that was the start of everything.
Yeah.
And it was a boring holiday. And I came to see this beautiful black chick whose sister was living here with a Spanish guy and Rasta chick, because I only ever went out with black chicks in England. And there was no black people there. It was just great. And then I come over, and the last day of the holiday, the Spanish guy says to me, let's go out, Vaughan. And there were 3 Spanish guys, but one of them could speak English. And we ended up going to Pacha, to Amnesia, to Ku, to Glories, and taking loads of coke, smoking loads of joints. My first time taking coke. And I'd been Studio 54, Paradise Garage. I'd been all over London, all over the world partying, and I'd never seen anything even close to what I saw in Ibiza.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this, I'm back. I'm coming back.
How long was it when you went back to England? You said, right, I need to get back to the island for good.
When we were out that one night, all these clubs were asking me to dance. And I'm a guy that's been going to the WAG and all these places, and Ronnie Scott's and all that shit from when I'm like 15. And they're like, yeah, you need to come and dance here. And we've been dancing all our life, you know, for fun and chicks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come back. So the next year I come big motorbike straight from London over to Ibiza. Went back to the same Spanish mate, stayed in his house and took it from there.
And you've stayed ever since?
Yeah, started dancing in Pacha.
That's over 40. That's over 40 years.
Yeah, man, 42 years. I think it's 42 years. Yeah.
Wow.
A long time.
Well, just roll a little bit back there. Where were you in London then?
Where was I in London?
Yeah.
Well, I've had the craziest life possible. I was dumped on Chelsea Hospital doorstep like that. Later, I'm in a children's home. Later, I get adopted by white parents. I've got 2 black brothers, a black sister. None of us are blood related like that. My dad turned out to be one of the top sculptors in England. Yeah. And my mum was an artist. And I actually grew up next to Henley-on-Thames. Only black kids in the school, only black, you know, like, had a mad life, but beautiful life.
What was that like growing up in England at that time for you, being the only black kid?
Well, it was a war zone half the time, you know, with everybody. You're fighting with the teachers, your parents, the fucking police, everybody, but it makes you strong, you know what I mean? And makes you independent and different. I would say that my brothers and sisters are quite boring in comparison with me, but I'm the exact what I'd think would come out of my life, you know what I mean? So.
And what was it like back then, knowing that your mum and dad weren't around for you?
I never give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
I always cared about where I'm going, not where I come from.
Yeah.
Like that. And when I was young, I was a properly black radical. You know, I was in Ethiopia when I was 19. I was trained to be a social worker and a teacher. I was making housing projects, doing fucking, you know, big protests and doing all this shit. But in the end, it all gets in your head. And I'm like, I need to escape from this. And that's a lot of the reason I came to Ibiza.
Wow.
And we also did the best house parties in London.
Yeah.
Along with people like Carl Cox and all this.
Yeah.
You know, we'd all know each other from when we were young kids.
How old were you when you moved over here?
I was, how old am I
roughly
now? 23.
23.
Yeah.
And what was the vibe for you when you come to the island? You're like, I'm here for life. I don't want to be in London.
Well, it's funny because everybody said, oh, you go to dance in Pacha, it'll last a couple of weeks. And the funniest thing is that, you know, in those days, everything was about being yourself. Everything was about, nobody cared about anything else. Nobody had a telephone. Nobody had a fucking television. If you bought a newspaper, it was 3 days old. Yeah. Nobody gave a fuck about anything. And basically, it was full of characters. And, you know, this is why this island was the black sheep island. Everybody who was a bad person in their, especially rich families, got kicked out and came over here. And, of course, before you had Franco helping any of these ones, and, of course, all the Nazis and all that shit. So it was like a big mix of absolute lunatics. And it was fucking great.
I bet.
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved it from day one. And, you know, in the old days, people came to the clubs to watch the dancers. The DJs were behind. They never came to see the DJs like now. You know, and now you come and it's all about the DJs. Yeah. And all the dancers look the same and they're all boring. Yeah. We took people because they were lunatics, even if they couldn't dance, but they just looked like lunatics. We'd have them on the podium. And it was just great. It was perfect.
And is that what you came over? You thought, you know what, I've got me, I've got myself, and I can dance. I'll earn a living out of this. Is that what your mindset was at the time?
Yeah, yeah. And chose lots of pussy. Of course. Yeah, because, you know, most of the dancers are women.
Yeah.
And the few men dancers, 99% of them are gay.
Yeah.
And I was like stuck in the honeypot, man. It's like unbelievable. Plus the fact that for, I don't know, 12 years of dancing for Pacha, I'm dancing around the world. People are coming in. We want you in my villa. We want you in our club. We want you, that chick, that chick, that chick. Private jets, helicopters. Let's get the fuck over. What do you want? I want fucking grams of coke. I want hash and I want champagne. And that's it. Do you want food? No, I don't care about food.
Quality. And how long could you have kept that up for? What was it like? If you were to explain your sort of life over here, you've been here 42 years. What was the most debauchery of those decades? Was it the 80s, 90s, noughties?
I think that it's the 80s and 90s, but it was what's normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't debauchery because everybody did the same thing. This was an island full of characters, full of lunatics, full of real people.
Yeah.
Now it's full of crap.
Yeah.
You know, and my mates like Willie Graff, top DJ, was telling me last night, Afri, they call me, don't be negative in this podcast. But if you've lived through all the years here, it's very difficult not to be negative when you go to these clubs and you're getting charged €40 a cup and this and that, where they don't have guest lists anymore. And, you know, I was literally giving guest lists to every girl that I met, not just for Pacha, for Manumission, for Amnesia, for whatever, because everybody was friendly. Everybody just wanted people in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must have seen it change hugely.
I've seen it change. Yeah, I've seen it change a lot. I mean, we had arguably the best bar in Ibiza town, the Rock Bar for years, which incidentally was next to Jason's and the Ulysses Bar, the bass bar, which was paid for and fronted by one of my best mates in the world, Ralph, who was a massive drug dealer, who unfortunately died of too much coke. But he also financed the Manumission motel, thanks to me, you know.
Wow.
And that's, you know, I was thinking about this. What was the last big thing in Ibiza was Manumission. Yeah. You know, and since Manumission, it's really gone downhill. And Mike and Claire are my best friends in the world. They're the godparents of one of my kids, my 27-year-old kid. I was best man at their wedding. Yeah. I'm the godfather of their 3 kids, you know. And when they were doing Manumission and they wanted to get the motel, which was an old whorehouse, and then me, Mike, Ralph, Mick Jagger, who's a great friend of us, all broke into it because I wanted to show them it. And it's all leather clad and jacuzzis and everything. And then Mike's asking Andy, the brother, to finance it. And he's like, no. And I'm like, Mike, ask Ralph. And within a day, Ralph had a suitcase, if I remember right, it had 58,000 euros and a kilo of coke in it, and said, give it back when you can. And that's how the motel started.
Is that right?
Yeah, fucking right.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year was that roughly?
That was, I don't know, man.
90s?
Yeah, it was the
early
90s.
90s.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm bad with the years. It's impossible to remember years. You know, it's like everybody's done this, everybody's done that. You know, Tony Pike was one of my best friends in the world. And I was around when they did Club Tropicana. I was in Freddie Mercury's birthday. But if you go around the island, everybody was there, but they fucking weren't. No. And they just live off it. Yeah. But I was there. There was pictures on the wall. I don't remember being there, but there's photos on the wall of us not there. We were out of our nuts. We were out of our nuts for years. Yeah.
What was Tony? How would you explain Tony? How would you explain Tony?
Tony was, like many of the people here, an absolute character that just didn't conform to anything. That was the beauty of here. There was nothing to conform to. I think that's the biggest issue in the change, that now people conform. People queue up, people do this. To give you an example, when I'm dancing in Pacha, I had to arrive in Pacha 2:30 in the morning. Now, when I arrived in Pacha 2:30 in the morning, there'd be nobody there. Yeah. There'd be nobody in Amnesia. There'd be nobody Ku. The port would be packed. All the bars and restaurants would be packed. People would come out 3:30, which is normal. If a club's closing 7, 8, 9 in the morning, why are you queuing up now at 11 o'clock to go into Pacha? Yeah. It's pathetic. Yeah. It's absolutely pathetic, you know. And this is what this island's full of now. Yeah. I'm sorry to everybody, but this island's full of pathetic people. Wow. And it fucking is.
Yeah. Is it grating you, living the longer you're living on the island and you're getting older? Are you always looking back at rose-tinted glasses, or is it genuinely like...
I'm a guy that wants to live now. I don't want to live in the past. Yeah. And the last 5 years, I've been based a lot in Menorca. Okay. I love Menorca. It's like 20, 25 years ago here. I'm desperately trying to find the right business to open there. And there's a few others that are trying to do the same. I can't mention names because I don't want to fuck them up, but regulars from here. And like, you know, I've just opened this beautiful bar here because the opportunity sprang to me. But it's for me, my last opportunity on Ibiza because everything's so difficult here. Yeah. You've got a wall against you. The more success, the more problems. Right. If you're not a big corporate business, and that's it. And we have to plug a Luna Funky Room, my new bar in the old town. It's fucking great. We've had them all playing, all the best DJs here. Andy Baxter, Willie Graff, PP, and Mel C from the Spice Girls. But, you know, that's how we go. Yeah. And this is that's how we roll.
So in the 80s, did you set up a business, or were you just partying and dancing?
No, I had the rock bar with Nick, who's another unfortunate one of my partners who died from sniffing too much.
Is that right?
Yeah.
When did Nick pass?
Again, you're asking me. Okay. Yeah, it's like a few years ago now.
Did you know he was overcooking it? Did you know?
I know everybody's overcooking it. I overcooked it. I nearly died, and I stopped it. I stopped it now, probably 22, 23 years ago. Like that, I haven't taken the line. I'll chop lines all day, but I haven't taken one from there. And unfortunately, loads of the friends from all of us, from Yuli, Danny came much later, but Yuli, me, all these guys, Jason, loads of our friends died over the years, either directly from overdoses like that, or taking too many drugs, or accidents associated with it, or killing themselves. Yeah. Yeah. It's the way it goes.
Wow. In the 90s, how did you see it change from sort of the 70s hippie and the 80s, the sort of rock bands and the bands, then coming into sort of the dance music? How did you kind of see that change?
Well, the thing was, what changed was before this island had resident DJs in every club. You know, in Pacha was Pepe, in Amnesia was Alfredo, in Ku was Cesar, and they were the residents, and they were the guys that invented the Balearic beat. And they're all best friends of mine. And unfortunately, Alfredo's in the old people's home, but we're bringing him out on Sunday to DJ in word of mouth here. And
how old's Alfredo?
He's like, well, not that old, 73 or something, but he had a bit of a habit like that. And it tends to catch up with you. But he's a great guy. And then started coming in the promoters to the clubs. And this is when I set up the Funky Room, because I'm dancing on the podiums with PP playing. So PP's playing the tunes that I fucking dance the best to, and the tunes that chick danced the best to, and the tunes that one danced the best to. Then you get promoters bringing in these DJs that don't give a fuck about the dancers. And I'm like, and a lot of us, because we're so mentally individual, I'm not dancing, I'm not puppet. I'm not dancing to music I don't like, full stop. So I actually said to the owners of Pacha, and at that time with my partner Nick from The Rock, I'm like, there was a chill out room upstairs. I'm like, we want to take the chill out room. And the first years, and that was 1994, and the first years of the Funky Room, we rented it, and it was ridiculous because we were making so much money because it just turned into the best room on the island. You know, we had every celeb and his dog in that room, and it just kicked off from day one because I saw what was missing. You know, and kept my DJs, never changed the concept. I said from day one, guys, play music for the chicks. You got the chicks dancing, you got everybody else dancing. And I can't even begin to write a list of the celebs, but like I'm introducing my DJs to Dr Dre while I'm passing him a joint. I think that's pretty hardcore, you know, and all the ones like Kate Moss, Noel Gallagher, Mick Jagger, all these, they're just regulars. JK, who used to watch me dance when he was like 17, came, and a lot of his records, he played them first time in the Funky Room before they were released because he had a big respect for me because he watched me. I had a big influence on him like that. And those were the days. And that's not bullshit.
Sounds like you had a big influence on quite a few people.
Had a big influence on a lot of people, yeah.
How old are you today, Vaughan?
65, man.
Fair play, mate.
Yeah. 65, a dad of 4 sons of Martel's 40, Truman's 36, Saxon's 27, Hendrix is 12, and Monet, my granddaughter, is 12 as well. So I have it all. And I'm cool with all of them except with the mother of Hendrix. But we won't go into that.
Did you ever get married?
Of course not. Do I look like a guy who's been married? 4 kids, 3 different mothers. Yeah. No, I've never been married. I was best man, like I said, at Mike and Claire's wedding. I was best man at Leah Tilbury's wedding, Charlotte Tilbury's sister, who's also a great friend of mine, who's now a famous chick in the world, who I took to Pacha when she was 14, both Leah and Charlotte. This is how we go back in the time, you know.
Do you remember the first time you met Mike and Claire from Manumission?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't meet Mike and Claire. I met Mike and Andy on the steps in Pacha when they're coming in and they're saying that they want to do a party in Pacha. And this was when it was the good old days in Pacha, when there was just an office and stacks of money and just craziness. And I'm like, guys, you've done a fucking parties in Manchester and you've done one party in Paris. You don't stand fuck all chance of doing a party in Pacha. And then me and old Sid, we actually hooked him up with the promoters, which was Tommy Mack and Alan Warman, that were the first English promoters doing Pacha, that used to do Mondays in Pacha, black and white, and they're mates of mine from London from years ago, and they got winged out of Pacha and they went to what was Coup, like this. But you know, you've gone from a club with a normal amount of people to a club that's massive.
Was it 10,000 plus, wasn't it?
And it wasn't working. So we said to Mike and Andy, go and speak to those guys. And they did a deal. Probably was Tommy and Alan's biggest mistake, because they did a deal and ended up taking over. And I give it to Mike and Andy in the first place, because their party started purely on publicity. They just had all these brown paper bags all around the place with question marks later with M, with nothing. And everybody's like, what the fuck is that? You know? And then on the opening night of Manumission, it was packed. And it went up to 13,000 people. 13? In a club? Wow. And on a regular basis.
That's like a medium-sized festival.
And, you know, and it was beautiful. And you know, Mike met Claire. She was actually the best ticket sales chick from Manumission. And, I mean, they're my best friends. And we've done a lot of things together, and we've helped each other a lot over the years. And now they live out like that, but I see them on a regular basis.
Where are they? Are they in mainland Spain?
Yeah. I'm not going into details to where they are, but they live a beautiful life, and I see them a lot.
Just explain for the listener there what Manumission actually was.
Manumission was basically a massive sex party and hedonistic, to say the least. And basically everybody thinks that Mike and Claire fucked everybody, but they didn't. They only ever fucked each other. but they employed a lot of people to fuck and blow ping pong balls out of your pussy and do whatever and just do disgusting acts. And it worked like that. But they were always together, yeah.
So just to explain this, so Mike and Claire would have sex on stage in front of 13,000 people.
Yeah.
How many times a week?
No, it was once a
week.
Monday nights, which was the worst night.
Yeah.
But it became the best night on the island for years. And, you know, back in the day, it didn't matter what night. Every night was the same. I spent years here. You know, we'd drive up to the Rock because we could drive into the port then. And you didn't give a fuck. You didn't know what day it was. Now you know every day. Before you didn't know any day. And I mean, how crazy Manumission was and the publicity and everything. And Claire, when you hear this, I know you're going to hate me telling this, but one day Claire comes, because they lived in my house for a while, and she comes crying to me when she's pregnant with Stanley, the oldest kid. And she's like, Vaughan, people think I'm going to have him on stage, have the baby on stage and everything. And she's so upset. And I'm like, Claire, get it in your head. How have you fixed the minds of these people that these idiots think that you can actually time a baby to come on Monday night in Manumission stage? You've got to be laughing. You can't be crying about that. And she went away just laughing her head off because it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's how the mentality got to the people. It's crazy.
And how sharp were they as a couple then, actually taking the doorman and making copious amounts of money?
So they're like me. They're not good with the money.
Yeah.
They're the front people. They're the ones with the ideas. And unfortunately, all of us get ripped off. And we all have been ripped off over the years like that. I'm desperately trying not to let that happen to me again.
Why do you think you got ripped off? Is it because you're not commercially minded?
Yeah,
people take
because
the piss?
people take advantage of you. There's always, you know, we opened a beautiful beach bar here called Babylon Beach for the last 10 years. And again, my partner unfortunately died like this.
Who's that?
Angie. Yeah. Angie Vesti from the Vesti family.
And how did she die?
From alcohol.
Okay.
And you know, it's a sad state of affairs and things are getting, you know, sold. It's just been sold and stuff. And again, I'm not going to mention names, but people are trying to fuck me.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's wrong. Pacha's trying to fuck me now. And it's wrong.
Why is Pacha trying to fuck you?
Because it's owned by Arabs and they don't give a fuck. It's a corporate business. There's no love. There's no love on this island.
Okay.
This island was about love and individuality, you know, and now it's about money. It's not about anything else.
So just explain there, how are Pacha trying to fuck you? Because they're taking the room off you? Or is it to do with Babylon?
First of all, I'm in fucking Goa and I get an email just saying, Funky Room's finished, they're knocking it down. Not even a word of thank you for representing this club around the world for fucking 40 plus years. Yeah. And then if you got any issues, speak to human resources.
Oh.
I didn't even, they actually said HR. I had to ask somebody, what the fuck's HR?
Yeah.
You know, and it's a fucking joke. And, you know, back in the day, the owners would have paid me off, been cool, given me a lifetime pass and everything, like you should.
Yeah.
And now at the moment, I'm in a court case with them.
Are you in a court case, you?
Yeah.
Why? What are you fighting against?
Well, I'm fighting against the fact that I've had, you know, a contract with a club for 40 years and you're supposed to actually deal with that contract and you just want to fuck me up.
Was it a written contract? Was it a verbal contract?
No, written.
Oh, it's written, is it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How long have you been in court with?
I'm not going into all the details,
but I'm just out of interest. I'm saying, have you been fighting them for 6 months, a year, 3 months?
I mean,
do you think you're going to win?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're gonna
drag it out,
and it's not just with me. It's with a lot of people because nobody does the right thing here anymore. It's gone. It's turned into corporate business. As long as we can fuck people, we're going to fuck them and hope that they say, "Oh fuck it, I can't be bothered anymore."
Yeah.
Which probably we all will in the end. I'm gonna, you know, next week I'm gonna go and see the lawyers again, see where we're standing and everything. But I can't be asked. I can't be asked with stress. It's just, you know.
Have you ever thought about going straight to the owners yourself? And just say, listen, guys, I've been here for 40 years. This is what I've done for the club. I've been the main face of this club.
Absolutely not, because they're not interested.
They're not interested.
They're not interested.
They'll just hide behind the brand.
They've got a lot of yes people behind them.
Yeah.
Half the people, I said to, you know, if I was taking over a place, I'd mark down the history. Thank you, man. I'd check this. Could I have an ice cube? Sorry. Yeah.
Another one. There's one in there.
Is there one in there?
Do you want another one?
Is there one in there?
Vaughan, you can have what you want, mate.
Yeah, I do want another one. It's melted. Yeah. And, you know, I would find out the history of people. it's funny because like now, these Irish guys have been on my case that they're coming to play in word of mouth here on Sunday, and they're here for a few days, and they're a little band and DJs, and they'd heard about me, and they want to come and play in a Luna Funky room. And one of them, they came round last night, and this one had studied me. He knew everything about me.
Yeah.
And this is just some random guy from fucking Ireland. And we're talking about corporate clubs, and you haven't got the decency to even find out one thing.
And just to say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you show me any dancer in any of the clubs now that you recognise anywhere.
Yeah.
We were recognised around the world, anywhere, on the beach, in the airport, in the fucking supermarket, anywhere. We represented Ibiza, we represented the clubs. Now, that's fuck all.
Yeah.
The only thing that represents Ibiza is money.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, that's the way it is. And it's not going to change.
And when did you see that change then? Because obviously when the 90s come in, all the DJs were coming over, a lot of British started coming over. And obviously there's probably 40 different nationalities coming over on the island the whole time here. What have you seen change in the 90s to the noughties?
I think the 90s were great, and the early 2000s were great.
Yeah.
And then it's really difficult to say how did the port in Ibiza, how did the best port in the world become shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult to put a finger on it, but it's happened. And there's a few of my mates that still have stuck down there, but they're suffering. They're literally pulling their hair out. You know, okay, the other day was Solomon, and that was great.
Yeah.
But you couldn't get served.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet before, it was busy as that every day, and you could get everything you wanted.
And why do you think that has changed down the port? Because it is a beautiful port. It could be...
Because they've tried to make it too...
Commercial
and too corporate. Before it was like, what do you call it? Bar stools and tables and everything. Now it's all fucking sofas and plants and all cool. It's gone to a high end.
Yeah.
And now you've got all the people trying to drag you in. Plus the port isn't open anymore. Plus the taxis don't come down there.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, we could all drive there. The ferries used to come directly. Yeah. People literally would come straight off the ferries, straight into the bars. Boom, like that. And that's all gone. You know,
do you not think that's all gone because that's just the times we live in? There's more corporate, there's more, every city's doing the same. Do you feel like the opportunity now is Menorca?
Yeah, but I don't want to say to too many people because we don't want to ruin there.
Yeah.
But it will get ruined in the next 25 years, but I'll be dead in the next 25 years, so I don't give a fuck. I want to make it good now. Like I said, I want to be one of the instigators in Menorca, like I was one of the instigators here. You know, I was thinking the other night, like yesterday I'm with this beautiful chick who's an influencer, and she was in the bar and stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's what we were. We were influencers.
Without the social media.
Yeah, but we only influenced ourselves and everything around us because we never looked at anybody else. I never looked at fashion, but I set loads of fashion trends. Yeah. I never looked at music, but I set up the lives of many DJs. Yeah. You know, we didn't give a fuck. And now it's all social media. Yeah, it's true. And I'm not a negative person. I'm a positive person. But the only thing for me that's improved in the last 40 years on this island is the medical attention. Yeah. Nothing else. The clubs certainly haven't. The bars certainly haven't.
Restaurants?
The restaurants, no. Funnily enough, the best restaurants, my favourite bar, Cancarol, and one of my favourite restaurants, Caspaias, they're both on the San Carlos Road, are two of the places on this island that don't take credit cards.
Brilliant.
And they're packed all the time. Brilliant. And everybody says you can't work without credit cards. Yeah. Well, they just show you fucking wrong.
Yeah.
If you're good. And I have to throw it in for Bambuddah because that's another one of my favourite restaurants from my best friends, John Moon and John Moon. Peace and love to you guys.
Yeah. What other clubs on the island have you really enjoyed over the years?
Well, anybody who was here in the 80s, Pacha was the coolest club. Amnesia was the best club.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. Like
this. And then back in the day, Glories. You know, after Amnesia, you'd go to Glories.
What's that, Glories?
Glories. It was down the road from Amnesia. Now it's a wreck, but it was fucking fantastic. You know, it was just great. And then back in the day, space, because before, nobody went to space. Before Manumission, everybody says, blah, 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 like space. Space was there all the time.
Yeah.
Not one person who went to Amnesia, to Pacha, to Ku, ever went to space until Manumission started doing the after hours there. Yeah. And then it kicked off in space. And I have to say, those days were great.
They were amazing, weren't they?
They were amazing. Yeah. Like that.
What do you miss about space not being there anymore? And have you been into High?
Yeah, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, okay.
That's another one.
Again, pure commercial.
Another, you know, this is another story, and all of you guys can come and tell me I'm lying because I'm fucking not. Yeah. So one day, me, Mike and Claire, we're down in the basement of Manumission, where we spend a lot of time sniffing, smoking joints and that, watching all the chicks change and put ping pong balls up their pussies, as you do, you know, on a Monday night. And then I've got one of my DJs, Colin Peters, who is a black mate of mine from London, and he's played for me a few times in the Funky Room, and we've had him in Manumission, but we got nowhere for him to play. And I say, and we're completely stoned, I said, why don't we put him in the toilet? Call him DJ Toilet in Manumission, because it had massive toilets. So Mike and Claire are like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it. So we put Colin in the toilets. Later, Norman, you know, Fatboy Slim, all these guys wanted to play in the toilets in Manumission. And that was the direct result of a stoned conversation with us lot to help Colin. Years later, I get a call from one of these fuckers from High saying, what would you do in the toilets in this club? And I went down there and gave them all these ideas on the understanding that I'd get a night. They fucked me off, of course. Yeah. You know, there's a surprise.
It's amazing when you go into High, though. The amount of people there just with their phones in the air.
Oh, it's pathetic.
It's crazy, isn't it? No one's enjoying, no one's dancing, everyone's just filming.
That's the island. Look, in the Funky Room, I don't let you film.
Yeah.
You know, the other day we have Mel C in a Luna Funky Room, and I'm not letting people film. You can take a picture, but you're not videoing. If you come into anything to do with me, you come in to dance. If you're not coming to dance, fuck off. People would say in Pacha, you can film downstairs. Go downstairs. Yeah. Don't fucking stay up here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not interested, and I don't go. And people say it's because you're older, you don't go to these clubs. No, it's not. My kids who've been going out since they're 15 don't go to these clubs because they fucking hate them, because they want to go out to clubs to get pussy and dance and get wasted. They don't want to go and stand with a fucking phone looking at some dickhead of a DJ. Yeah. It's pathetic. Yeah.
How did you see Pacha change over the years? Well, was there a point when Pacha would just turn complete commercial? Like, I'm not feeling this anymore.
Yeah, because before, when you walked into Pacha, first of all, it was open in the winter. Okay. This is the first thing, which was beautiful. Secondly, they had a kids' disco on, I can't remember what day, which was beautiful as well. And then when you walked into the main part, you were confronted by us lot dancing, and Pepe is behind, up in the back. Yeah. You're not looking at the DJ. And then behind the DJ box is a VIP area. But that VIP area was full of fucking VIPs. Yeah. You know, proper VIPs, like Mick Jagger, Jack Nicholson, all these guys. They'd be in the VIP. Now you've got fucking VIPs everywhere. Show me a VIP.
Yeah. It's like 1,000 VIPs on tables. Wild,
everywhere. Yeah. And it's just rich.
Yeah.
And the point is, I know so many rich fuckers that have left this island, don't come, taken their boats, gone away, because you don't get rich by being stupid. Yeah. And how can you run an island just by catering for stupid rich? All these Arabs and everybody that had inherited their money or got it from their fucking oil. And that's not going to last. And it's going down and down and down. Not being negative, Willie, but it's going down. Yeah. Yeah.
So the 22 years, was it 22 years you were at Pacha?
No.
Dancing? How many years was it?
I was dancing for 12 or 13 years. Okay. And then I set up the Funky Room. Yeah. And the Funky Room would have been running 30 years this year. Yeah. Now, even for decency's sake, and I sent them a message saying, for decency's sake, could we do a 30-year anniversary party in Pacha? Didn't even get a reply.
Right, okay.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. And you know, I'd done loads of parties, funky parties, on the main floor of Pacha over the years. You know, also, I started what was the Global Room, and I put Mick Jagger into Pacha. Yeah. You know, I did so many things. I put what I call the Bolognese brothers, the Italians, into Pacha. And it's mental that you get nothing back. So Saxon, my 27-year-old son, was in Ushuaia the other weekend, and he's with some of his mates, a couple of chicks, and one of our other friends' sons is one of the main security guys there, like that. So they don't pay to get in Ushuaia. So Saxon's gone to the bar and he's ordered 3 vodka Red Bulls, or 4, I can't remember, and they're 48 euros each.
Jeez.
And he's like, no, I don't want them. But of course they put them out, open the cans, and then they want to fucking throw them out. They want to get the security and throw them out because they don't want to pay ridiculous money for a drink. And luckily my mate's quite high there, and he's come and said no. But this is how ridiculous it is. And apparently it's 24 euros for a shot in there. I mean, that's insane. We've all got bars. How much is a bottle of Yervas? It's like 12 euros for a fucking bottle. You get 20 shots out of a bottle, and you want me to fucking pay 24 euros for a fucking shot? Sorry, you wankers. And in the end, you're losing everybody. And everybody says everything's packed. It's not. Look at this hotel. It's too many 5-star hotels. Is it 5-star service? No, it's not. Is it 5-star prices? Yes, it fucking is.
I've got to say here, the Me Hotel is 5-star service.
Right.
It's wonderful. I've got to give them a massive big up.
You got to say that. But
no, I ain't got to say that. No, hear me out for it. I ain't got to say that.
I believe there is some.
Because if it weren't, I'd go, it's not.
Yeah, no,
I've been
I
here
agree.
now 4 days. I've got another 3 days. They're bang on the ball here.
We'll big it up for the Me. I've never had an issue here.
Go back to Pepe. Explain who Pepe is, because the name DJ Pepe is popping up everywhere.
Pepe was the resident DJ in Pacha. And he, you know, it's funny that all the Balearic beat guys, for example, Cesar's Spanish, but Pepe's Italian and Alfredo's Argentinian. But everybody thinks they're all Spanish, but they're not. I'm consistent with the people I take, you know, and the people that we keep. We're a team. We're faithful to each other. Willie's playing in the bar tomorrow, which you need to come to the bar.
I'm going to come, 100%. I'm in.
Yeah. Come on, throw it at me.
No, mate,
next.
you're a fascinating man. This is quality. So proper loyal man. For
yeah, loyal. And you know, people aren't loyal anymore. People are just running behind the money.
Yeah.
So I don't like people because they got loads of money. I like people because I like them.
Yeah.
I've got a load of rich friends, most of which weren't rich when I met them. And the ones that were rich, I didn't even know they were rich.
Yeah.
But now everybody's chasing rich people. And when you go to these clubs, it's pathetic. You're taking pictures of people spending 20 and 30 grand on a bottle.
Yeah.
Why is that fucking interesting? Can somebody explain to me, why is that interesting? Why is somebody driving around in a rented Ferrari or Lamborghini here? Why the fuck is that interesting?
Yeah.
You know, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's pathetic, but we are in pathetic times.
Yeah.
And that's sad. What we need to do is live the real life and get some characters back and get some, you know, get some realness back to this island. But I can't see it happening.
Yeah. Well said, mate. Well said. Have you ever got yourself into trouble on the island?
Oh, yeah. For too many times. I fucking beat the shit out of a Policia Nacional in the middle of Pacha.
You beat the shit out of him?
Yeah.
A copper?
Yeah. I didn't know he was a copper at the time, but he was having a go at all of the fucking dancers and all this shit. And on the podiums, unfortunately for him, and like I said, most of the dancers were women or gay, I always used to dance in steel toe cap Dr. Martens. That was my thing. This is, you know, when we say trendsetters, I'm a guy and I can show you, you know, in the 80s, I'm cutting the leather of steel toe cap Dr. Martens and spraying them like multicolours. And Dr. Martin started doing that, I don't know, 20 years afterwards, like that. But I never knew that until years afterwards. And yeah, basically this guy was being a dick, but I'm on a podium and you're head high and you're starting on me and you're just getting kicked in the head and then jumped on. And at which point, yes, I get dragged out of Pacha. Well, I get told I got to go out of Pacha because they're all coming in and they're going to close the club. Oh. And one of my girlfriends, who I call Sister Remy, jumped in the window of the police car and rescued my ass because these guys, they had the guns out in the station and they're telling me to run. I'm like, I'm not moving. like this. And they're like, you know, you must be some fucking kung fu expert. I had dungarees, skinny as fuck, rings on every finger, and this guy's in hospital.
Yeah.
And, but I'm a black guy from London. People don't understand it.
Yeah.
We fucking had mental lives,
Yeah.
you know, and this is what I was saying to you now, you know, we've stabbed people. I've been shot. We've had massive fights. I've seen people thrown out fucking multi-story car parks and shit. This is how we fucking grew up, and it's no bullshit.
Yeah.
And then when something happens like this, people say, like one of my mates bottled some guy in Pacha and the security, like, what's wrong with him? Like, nothing. Yeah. For us, it's normal.
Yeah.
You know, I was like 15 and I was on the wrong end of a dodgy deal, and boom, 2 barrels of a 12 bore straight into me, and I got my hands fucked up. I still got pellets in my hand, in my side, had 158 stitches like this. Yeah. Got fucking diagnosed with cancer of the vocal cords like 5 years ago, through stress, through the X like this, and smoking 40 joints a day.
How many?
Smoking 40 joints a day.
40 joints a day?
Yeah, you ain't even, you ain't
Mate,
even
you keep
heard
going,
the
mate.
beginning of,
Mate, you keep...
of the things that we do. You just can't believe what we've done in our lives. It's completely mental. You know, when I started clubbing, when I'm like 14, we're living in the country near Henley. We're going into Reading and Oxford and stealing cars,
Yeah.
and then going to petrol stations, stealing petrol,
Yeah.
and then going clubbing.
And off skis, yeah.
Yeah, like that. And then it was mental. It was mental. But I am a nice guy as well.
Mate, never I see
You
that.
know,
Mate, I can see that. You've got
I'm
a fucking
sweet
massive
guy.
heart. You've got a massive heart, and I
I've
see
helped a lot
it.
of people. I love my kids. I do a lot of good
Yeah.
for things.
I can see that.
But yeah, but at the same time, my life, we were brought up as dangerous motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like that. And we still kind of love Ibiza.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, but I understand why you are losing the love for Ibiza, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's changed, it's gone too commercial." You're just saying it. You're just vocalising it.
yeah.
You know. And what's happening is all the people go, "Oh, I've been to Ibiza." They're the ones who are dropping 5, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand. Are they really enjoying it?
No,
Do
and
you
you
know what I mean?
didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
You had the best time in your life
Yeah.
without blowing loads
Yeah.
of money. And meeting people like me that were so happy. So many people for years and years, Dodge Man,
Yeah.
have come to see me. And now they're fucked.
Yeah.
Because I can offer them to come to the bar.
Yeah.
But I'm not offering anybody into Pacha
Yeah.
or anything.
And that's the rock bar.
No, into Luna Funky, into my bar now. But before I could offer them entrance into all the clubs
Yeah.
like this, anything like that. But it's all changed.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to get into that level
Yeah.
now. You know, somebody said to me the other day, well, let's go to Cova Santa, one of my best mates.
I love Cova Santa. Yeah.
And I go there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they're
Best
like,
venue on the island for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I go to Chinois as well with
Yeah,
Danny
lovely.
Will and everything. But they're like, yeah, we're on the guest list for it. I'm like, cool. And then on the night, they're like, the guest list is €25. I'm like, I'm not paying 25
Yeah,
euros.
it's a guest list is a guest list.
A guest
Not paying
list,
guest
exactly.
list. Yeah.
And then Oliver, my mate, is Dutch, who I know again for 40 years. He's like, come on, man, you know, just pay. I'll pay for you. I'm like, no, I've never paid to go in a club anywhere. I'm not going to fucking pay now
Yeah.
in Ibiza.
Yeah.
It's not about money. It's about principle.
Yeah.
And if you lose your principle, you lose everything.
Yeah, agree.
And that's it.
Agree.
You know?
And how have you seen the nightclubs change then? Like you've got the new one, Chinois, which is the newest and nice. It's the nicest one. It's a bit smaller. It's about 1,000 people.
And
do you like Chinois?
I do like
Yeah.
Chinois. And they're not
Pretentious.
no, they're not pretentious.
They're real.
And they don't have everybody with their telephones.
Yeah.
People are actually dancing and having a good time
Yeah.
like you should have in a club.
Yeah.
And despite the fact I do love Cova Santa, but there's way too many security guards.
Yeah. Oh, you feel there's too many security
Yeah.
guards there? Okay.
I mean,
And does that make you feel like everyone's on edge a little bit more because people are looking in?
No, because the last time was Made in Italy, 30th anniversary. Now, again, I put the Made in Italy guys into Pacha, and they're good, Rossana and all
So
the
what's Made in
bosses.
Italy?
It was a party. It was a party.
Okay.
And I put them into Pacha, and they're good friends of mine. So they were having their 30th anniversary, of course not in Pacha. They were doing it in Cova Santa.
Yeah.
And so I'm a guest, you know, like this. And it's Todd Terry, it's Ariel Neri,
Yeah.
and Alex Neri and Bushwhacker playing. Now, Alex Neri was playing for us in the bar. You know, he's a mate. Todd Terry's a mate.
Yeah.
We're going in there. Who's organised it's a mate. So we're going in there, and I go with Willie Graff, who's one of the top DJs on the island. We come to the parking, and we're not in a flashy car. Who gives a fuck? But there's loads of space in the parking. But we get directed by the parking guys to literally park a fucking kilometre away. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm a guest here. I'm going to be on the stage next to Todd Terry, and I've got to park because what? Because we're in a shit car.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. And I was ready to go. And Willie's like, no, Vaughan, come on, we're going. And it pisses me off. Yeah. It's called no style. Yeah. And it's so funny because one of these security guys that's trying to fuck me had to open the fucking rope to let me onto the stage. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's just, wow.
What was your relationship like with the old owner of Pacha, the original? Fantastic. Yeah.
With Ricardo and PT. I was with PT the other day. Don't get PP confused with PT.
Yes.
PT was the younger brother of Ricardo, the owner of Pacha. My relationship with them was fantastic. We're friends. We're cool. Like that. They had respect. I had respect. Everybody had respect. Now there's no respect.
And do you think it was the right move for Pacha to sell the brand when it did?
They made a lot of money.
Yeah.
After that, PT, for example, I was with him the other day and he's fucking pissed off because Flower Power was his party. It was his invention and it was a great party. And now these owners have kept the name and the logo and everything, but they play fucking techno and everything.
Oh, fuck, okay.
And he's pissed with that.
Okay.
Which you would
Did he not own the brand? Did he not own the trademark, or he didn't trademark it? He just
it was in Pacha, wasn't it? So he's fucked with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
and how would you explain the owner of Ricardo, who's bought the brand created the brand from 1973 to celebrating 50th birthday last year? How do you explain him and what he's created?
Because like a lot of these guys, he's a super handsome guy with great charisma.
Yeah. And
they started Pacha. It was a little club. It was a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. Even when I came there, there was things, there was little bars in the car park in front, there was things, everything's changed so much. This island was full of some of the most beautiful bars in the world and they've all disappeared. You know, I always lived San Carlos and Santa Lalia, and Santa Lalia had the best bars in the world and they were properly jet set bars.
Yeah.
You know, I was really good friends with Nicky Lauda and all these guys, and I'm best friends with their kids and everything. And we used to go to loads of Formula One races, just invited, because we hung with all these guys. They all had houses here, but it's all gone. I mean, I'm still friends with their ex-wife and everything, but it's all gone. You know, Valentino Rossi's a really good friend of mine, and I'm a big motorbike guy, and we go to the races with him where we're more than VIP. Yeah. You know, like just ridiculous. Yeah, it's mental.
And when was it? When was the year when the Ibiza government said, right, no parties in villas anymore?
I don't know.
That's got to be
I don't know.
Early 90s again. Was it? Sad, wasn't it?
I mean, if you think like with
why did they do that? Why?
Because corporate business, because the clubs are controlling everything. Yeah. If you think back in the day when we started Babylon Beach, for example, which now is just been closed for 2 years, so it's 12, 13 years ago. Now we made it beautiful. We built a beautiful adventure playground for kids in it because I was sick over the years of my kids growing up and there being a plastic slide or something in these beautiful restaurants and nothing for the kids. So we made a state-of-the-art adventure playground with zip wires, with swings, with everything like that. And I made it for Hendrix, for my youngest son, who's now 12. And you know, I did a deal with John Moon in Bambuddah for Halloween, which was one of the best parties. So we would make the kids' Halloween party, and it was great because we'd make it and all the mums would be there with their kids and it would be beautiful. And then all the mums, they'd go home, drop the kids off with whoever, and then put the sex gear on and go to Bambuddah's because Bambuddah's was a dirty sex Halloween party. You know, at one time, John's in there, I'm like, what's he going to wear? What costume? He was stark bollock naked. Like that. And it was mental. And we used to make these massive punches with all of our drug dealers just bringing in every leftover drug in the world. And it was just nutty. And it was one of the best parties in the world for years and years. But then suddenly it gets stopped and ours gets stopped. And then what happens next? Oh, Pacha offered John Moon to do it in Pacha.
Oh, okay.
Now, I wonder who got that stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And of course, these things are never going to be the same in the clubs.
Vaughan, have you ever been banged up?
Yeah.
Where? And why?
For short times in England for shoplifting, stealing cars, whatever. And then like for 3 months in Paris, outskirts of Paris, just getting hitchhiking around Europe and getting in the wrong car with a couple of drug dealers and being in a big chase and everything, and boom. And this was before telephones and everything. And my parents and everybody thought I was dead like that. And it was mental, but it is what it is. And I mean, you know, like I said to you before, for me, the bad things in life make you a better person. If you have the perfect life, it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've had hundreds of fights. We've had big issues. We've had bad things. We've been nearly on the street, whatever. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I guess for your mindset, what I'm sensing here, that you've got no fear of dying. Like
No,
you didn't
absolutely
care.
not.
Okay.
My kids, when I got cancer, I didn't tell my kids. And because I was like, they said you got a tumour, and then I was going for a biop, and I was with my then Spanish girlfriend who'd already collapsed when they said I had a tumour. There was a lot of support, you know what I mean? And then we went to the hospital for the biop, and I was going to tell the kids afterwards, but they put me in the operating theatre, and then 9 hours later, I've woken up because they've obviously seen it straight away, cancer, just operated. Big up to Ibiza Medical, and now I get checkups in Menorca, and big up to them. That's one thing I won't diss. And then after I told the kids, and they were really pissed with me like that. But I just think what happens, happens. I've seen so many mates. One of my best mates, I've got him tattooed here, Spin Out Andy, used to dance with me, was the fittest guy, super handsome black guy, and danced with me around the world. And then like 3 years ago, just gets cancer and dies within like 2 months, like that, boom, like this. And so, you know, you just can't take, this is why I hate the people who are negative, and I hate the people who are always stressed. The life is to enjoy. Enjoy the fucking life, have a good time, and be nice to other people, and be cool with other people. And most of all, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous of success. Here we're on an island of people are jealous because that bar's busier than yours and that club's better than yours. Who gives a fuck?
Jealousy and envy are horrible, right?
Yeah,
horrible.
Of course.
What a waste of energy.
Course. It's an absolute waste. Come on, carry on,
man.
We gotta.
No, this is quality. How much cocaine do you reckon you've taken in one day?
In one day?
Yeah.
In one day, I don't know, easily. Well, when you're taking coke for one day, how long is a day?
Yeah.
Let's get that correct, because you're not. It's not like you're taking that much coke and then going to sleep.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So probably easily loads and loads of times over a 3-day period, 20 grams, like that.
Wow.
Not even a question.
Yeah.
When I was at my height, I was on 5 grams of coke a day. Maybe I was giving away 2, but you know, and that's when we're talking about taking proper coke, like that. You know what I mean?
Nothing cut.
Nothing cut.
Wow.
We had testers. You were always way over 80%.
Was it?
A lot of the time 90. Now you're lucky if you're on 10.
10, yeah.
You know. And then smoking fucking 40 joints on top of that.
When was the point when you mentioned earlier then you were smoking brown? What was that point when you went to that?
Well, because one of my best friends that I was smoking heroin with turned into a junkie.
Yeah.
And we smoked heroin because when you're just out of your nut on coke, it's the best downer. Just come back and chase the dragon and just mellow out. But as soon as all these things turn into, you start fucking getting dependent and injecting, then it breaks your heart.
Did you ever inject? Did you ever inject?
No.
Okay, just
I'm a strong-willed person. I've never, I've never put coke up my arse, and I've never put acid in my fucking eyeballs, and I'd never do these things. If you're going to get a rush, wait for the rush. That's it for me. But no, I'm just a natural drug addict.
You're good at it.
Yeah, I was a professional. But now I'm clean. I do a bit of MDMA and a bit of acid, mushrooms, but not much.
How many friends do you reckon you've lost over the years?
Whoa. Are we talking just in Ibiza, or are we talking in general?
Let's just talk Ibiza at first, and then in general.
In Ibiza, probably 40. Yeah. To the various things, like I said. Surprisingly, a few with suicides as well, which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
But it's all associated with drugs. Yeah.
So everything links back to drinking drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's not get too depressing.
No. This is just intriguing, man. But and then what was the point when you said, I've got to stop, otherwise I'm going to kill myself? I've got to stop. You're 25 years clean. What was that point? Do you remember the day where I'm done? I'm out of this. I
stopped coke when I came out of hospital.
Yeah.
And I stopped smoking when I got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
Day, like that. Boom. Like this. It's not even a question.
Let's go back.
And it's so funny because one of my best mates in Menorca, he got cancer of the throat cancer, was put in a coma, and had this is the other thing, it's being a hypocrite, had loads of money thrown at him because they saved his life.
Yeah.
And he's I never smoked cigarettes. I put tobacco in joints, but I never smoked cigarettes. And comes out of hospital, smokes like a chimney again.
Right, okay.
And I'm like, that's so wrong.
Yeah.
Why the fuck have you bothered to save him?
What promoters have you seen on the island been really successful over the years?
A lot. I think, the most successful by far was Mike and Andy.
Yeah.
But then at the beginning, Tommy Mac and Alan, and God bless Tommy, he just died a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then, the Italian boys, the Made in Italy crew, Jade with Jezebel, ourselves. It's too many. And then it went into the DJs, didn't it?
Yeah.
Where the promoters were the DJs, you know what I mean?
But there was a change. The promoters then, obviously they got rid of the promoters, and then the clubs were saying, right, you've got your night. Roger Sanchez on a Thursday, on a Friday. Did that change things again on the island?
Well, again, if you look at Roger and Danny and, Norman and all these, I know them all before they were super successful. Yeah. I know them for years and years. It's funny, the other day, they were doing a podcast, Joe, on the roof of the W with Danny Tenaglia. And there's all these hundreds of people there like that. And they're talking about Studio 54, and they're talking about Paradise, Loft, Garage. And I'm talking to Danny. And we're the only two who's been to those places.
Yeah.
We're the only two in the whole place that have actually been there. And this is Ibiza. It's Dreamsville, that everybody thinks they've done this and thinks they've done that, but they haven't fucking done it.
Yeah.
And we've done it all. And done it all from a young age. And done it properly. That's the other side.
Yeah.
But
Certainly done it properly, haven't you?
Yeah. But I don't want to come across as an arrogant, but I've just enjoyed the life and made the most of it, and never, thought, oh, I shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't do this because it might go wrong. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Tell me the businesses. Tell me the businesses that you've built over the years.
Businesses I've built over the years are, so we started with the Rock Bar, which was super famous.
Down in the port?
Yeah, started in Cayo de la Virgin in the middle of the gay street with 3 English guys in the middle of the gay street. Then moved down to the port. Then I did Excess, again in the Cayo de la Virgin, on a little with one of my German mates, Ralph. Then I did a restaurant on the San Juan Road that I made into a Caribbean Indian restaurant bar called Africa Babylon. That's now called Nagai. I then did the Monkey Bar with Truman, who's now 36, who was 21. And there
your boy Truman.
Yeah, Truman Napoleon.
Yeah.
And we did the Monkey Bar when it was Aura, Bambuddahs, all in the San Juan Road.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic bar. And then I got Stevie and my mates, Jamaicans in, and we had Caribbean food in there. It was the first Caribbean food restaurant on the island, and was kicking it. Then, come on, Vaughan, what did we do? We did the Monkey, and I was doing Pacha, obviously the Funky Room. Then we did Babylon Beach, that was just here, which was a beautiful beach bar. Absolutely
explain to listener Babylon Beach.
Babylon Beach was where we just took everything that was wrong with everyone else and made it right in there. So there wasn't one bit of plastic. It was all wood. It was all stylish. It was all beautiful. Like I said, with a beautiful playground for the kids. We made kids parties. We made adult parties. We had live music all the time. We had George Solar and a couple of other DJs playing all of the time. And we just made it stylish as cool. But over the years, jealousy fucked us with people jealous about that, jealous about this. But that's always been the issue. And I'm sure I'm missing something. Now, of course, we got a Luna Funky Room, which is a direct result.
A Luna
Funky Room, because my partner has a business in Zanzibar, Africa, called a Luna. So we've called it a Luna Funky Room. And what else? I'm sure I'm missing something big that we had in the middle, but I can't fucking remember. but quite a few businesses, but also made a lot of parties. Yeah. You know, I made a lot of parties in Las Dalias, in Atzaro, in obviously in Pacha, parties with Manumission, in the motel, loads of things over the years.
Is there one party that stands out to you that you go, you know what, that was the one?
Yeah, probably my 50th birthday. Yeah.
Where was that?
It was everywhere. We did 5 days of parties. People flew in from around the world. We did, my birthday's April the 11th. So we did it from April the 10th, I think it was. And we did Pacha, we did Las Dalias, we did Guaraná in Santa Lalia. We did, where did we do? We did 5 places like that, and it was crazy, and everybody was out of their nuts. And it ended up, the last night was in Guaraná in Santa Lalia, and one of my mates has come up to me and he's like, Vaughan, can you, bearing in mind I'd been at this guy's wedding, and he's like, Vaughan, can you take the wife up for a line? I'm like, yeah, okay. And he gave me the coke because I'd already stopped taking coke at this time. Clive and Tina. And I take her upstairs and I'm giving her a line and she starts trying to snog me. I'm like, okay, baby, like this. And I'm out of my nut. I mean, we've been partying for 5 days. So I go downstairs and he's like, yeah, give him the coke back. He's like, everything all right for him? I'm like, yeah. He said, you did it. I'm like, do what? He said, it's your birthday present. I'm like, what? He's giving me his wife for the birthday present. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so, and this again is not one word of a lie. So, Guaraná's closing. It's like 7 a.m. and we're all like, where can we go now? And just across the road, there was this pub, and I think it was called the Lord Nelson or something. And somebody said, like, a British pub, but they had DJs and that. Somebody said, just knock on the door, and if they open the curtains, you can go in. And we were like 100-handed at least, like this. And sure enough, they open it. And we have like loads of drugs and loads. Go in there, and I'm with a chick, you know, go in there. And then Clive's giving me a bag of coke, packet of condoms, and he's guarding the door in the toilet. I'm just telling me, this girl's hot as shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so funny. It's like, you can't really top that as a birthday present. And I'd had a lot of presents that night. But it was good. But that's one of many good parties. Yeah. And of course, the best parties, you don't remember shit.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about partying around the world? What other countries you've been to? You've thrown some, or been to some amazing parties?
I've been everywhere. You know, we've danced around the world like that. So, you know, we stole, my mate stole a limousine from the Nigerian embassy like that. This is when we used to steal cars when we were young. Yeah. And Alan, one of my best mates who lives here now, we used to bring him to his garage and they'd be changed in a day, you know, different numbers, different colours, everything, and you're off. And then one day he's come to me, he's like, Vaughan, we're going to an auction. Like, what for? He's like, yeah, I'd gone back to England for like a little couple of weeks, see the family. He's like, I'm going to buy a limousine. I'm like, okay, Alan. So we go to this auction and there's this completely fucked up wreck of a limo. I mean, it's just pieces of a limo. Like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, wait, just wait. Like this. So he buys this limo, like the Queen's got, proper big limo, like that. And then next thing I know, they've got him and his brothers, they've got a low loader, they've got all these fucking overalls on. And he's seen this car just sitting outside the Nigerian embassy in London with flat tyres for months and months. So they've gone up there, the police have closed the road and they've taken this car. This is no word of a lie. They've taken this car, boom, brought it back to his workshop, and it's black and in perfect condition, changed everything over, you know, all the fucking plates, numbers, boom. Then we're touring around Europe in this limousine. If I should have brought pictures, I've got great pictures of us just cruising around like this in this limousine and doing party after party.
Quality. Yeah. Give me some countries you've been to that've got good memories for you.
Well, I've been all over Africa. I've been Ethiopia, Kenya, Morocco, Tunisia, South Africa. I've been all over the States. I've been to Canada. I've been to Goa. I haven't been to Thailand or that, but I will. And I've been everywhere in Europe. Yeah. You know, every single country, and we've done parties because promoters just wanted us to come and dance and do parties. So we set up a funky room in Switzerland, and this guy put all the money, and I just designed it and everything. And again, we went with another limo, and we had just put lines of coke on the limo driver's bonnet and telling him he's got to take coke. He's hanging with us. Yeah. Things have been mad. Things have been mad. And, you know, when we're talking about, and I would show you pictures of this, but when I was talking before about the Dr. Martens and all this, one of the other things, I was always a big Range Rover man, the old school Range Rovers. Can't beat them. So I always had Range Rovers, including a Camel Range Rover. But I let rot that there's 7 left in the world now. With
Which
everything
Camel
yellow.
One?
Yeah.
Go on.
With everything yellow.
Yeah.
Every single thing in the car was yellow. And I had that for years here. And I took out Cuba Gooding Jr. in that, went partying with him on that. Yeah. You know, he wanted to come out with me. And then I had this blue 2-door one. And one day I'm sat with Alan, my same mate, and I'm like, Alan, you know what we should do? We should cut the back off it and make it into a pickup with 4 seats. So we did it like this, and it was beautiful. And again, years down the road, who did it? Yeah. Range Rover and Land Rover. But years and years after I'd done it, because our fashion sense wasn't just with clothes. It was with motorbikes, with cars, with every single thing we did, with decoration in the house. We were just so way ahead of the
time,
game.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Way ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not a bullshit, and anybody who knows me knows because they've been in the fucking car. Yeah. Until I rolled it coming from the closing of the Rock one day.
Is it?
Yeah. After I think I had that car like 7 or 8 years, and then rolled it on the Ibiza road. Fucking destroyed it.
Mate, get him another glass of vino, please. Mate, this is unreal. Yeah, okay, that's fine, man. What we on?
we can stop it.
Mate, this is wicked, mate. I don't want to fucking stop this.
No.
What? Is it hour and 20, is it? Fuck, mate.
But I'm also
Mate, this is unreal, mate. Where are we going with this?
You got to wind it up.
No. This is fucking. I can't. I don't want to wind it up.
I'm letting out too many secrets.
I don't want to wind it up.
And what I realised, and this always stuck in my head. So when I'd finished school and stuff, and then you're hitting 17, and all my mates in school, we're going to hitchhike around Europe. Yeah. And then when it came to doing it, they all backed out. And I, in my head, said, "Is this going to be you, Vaughan? Yeah. Or are you just going to do it?" Yeah. That's when I got put in prison in Paris and stuff, near Paris. Yeah. And I just thought, no, fuck you. I'm going to do it anyway. And I did all around Italy, Germany and everything. And it was on the way back when I got nicked like that. But I always thought that was what was the plan for my life. Had I of that time said, no, I'm not going to do it because my friends aren't doing it, that would have fucked my life forever. Yeah.
Have you ever been nicked on the island here?
Of course. Yeah. Fucking hell. I've never been put away here, but I've been a few overnighters and that. Yeah.
For what?
Drugs.
Yeah.
Mostly drugs. And then this bitch.
Selling drugs or possession?
No, possession. And then I always have other people selling drugs for me. I don't. And I just put people in contact with people.
Yeah. What opportunities have you had on the island that you've gone no?
Oh, loads. I can't even think. I had opportunities to dance in all the clubs, for example, and I turned them all down like this. I've had opportunities to partner with other people in other bars. I've turned it down. Have I had any opportunities that I regret not taking? I really can't think of any. No. And I have had opportunities where people have fucked me up, like we talked about, but no.
Why is that? Why do you think though that there's a theme here when you're saying people fuck you over? Why is that?
One of the biggest issues is,
first of all, Vaughan,
cheers, man.
This is wicked.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and you, man. You're a good man.
One of the biggest issues on this island in general is people meet people and they think, oh, this person's really cool, but then they want to become that person.
Yeah.
And you can't become. I don't want to become someone else, but I've seen it all along where people want to become Mike. People want to become this one. And that causes friction. And you don't need that. You know, if you're doing stuff with me, do the stuff that you're supposed to do with me. Don't try and take over from me. I'm not trying to take over from anybody. And that's fucked up a few of my partnerships and things, I have to say, over the years.
And tell me about your day-to-day these days.
My day-to-day these days is that, I mean, we've just recently opened a Luna Funky Room, and it's an opportunity that was too good to miss. And I want to say a big yo to Roland, my partner in the place. Big yo to Thomas Hedberg, my bar manager, my mate, and one of my DJs. And to Mateus, my beautiful gay waiter, and to Celine and Blaze, my beautiful chicks, waitresses and helpers. And, you know, we've got a great team and we've created this bar that I think, again, is missing here, where all the top DJs on this island want to come and play in our bar and entertain people and make them dance and make them have a good time. And that's all we want with the life. They're not interested in cameras. They're not interested in, you know, how much I'm getting paid. They're interested in having fun. And you'd be surprised how many DJs want to come and play for us like this. And okay, I know I've got a reputation and everything, but it's only been 9 weeks and we're already kicking it. Like I said, you know, we've already had Mel C playing again.
He's coming back.
and tomorrow night we've got Willie Gruff playing. And Dodge and the posse are coming down. That's a promise.
100%.
And let everybody else come down. And I just want to, my biggest thing in life is I want to go out and enjoy myself. Now, do you go out and enjoy yourself by standing in a queue for fucking an hour, getting fucking searched by security, and then watching everybody standing with cameras? Personally, not like this. I'd rather just go out and dance and party and chat up lots of chicks and take loads of drugs. And that's it.
Vaughan, on that note, mate, this is fascinating. Has anyone ever come to you about doing a movie or a book?
Of course, a book, a movie and everything. I was going to write a book, But I always said, like, you know, Howard Marks was one of
Yeah.
my best friends, and obviously Tony Pike. And always when people start writing an autobiography, they end up like dead not that long after.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I was going to start mine when it was COVID, and that's when I found out I had cancer.
Yeah.
So I put a hold on it.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely.
Mate, you've got to do a book.
Yeah.
You've got to do a movie. Netflix, if you're listening, this is a must. Absolute must.
And we haven't even touched on the surface.
Vaughan,
No.
what a fascinating life, mate. What an eventful life. And it's an absolute pleasure to sit here, have a drink with you and listen to
The pleasure
a
is mine,
percentage
and the
of it.
life hasn't finished. And you know, we're going to carry on the story. I'm not stopping it now.
Yeah.
I still want to, you know, move ahead and be inspired by things. And I don't want to leave it like being the same as everybody.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Let's live it up, guys.
Vaughan, if people want a part 2, you up for it?
Absolutely, 100%.
I'll fly out and we'll do a part 2. If you're listening out there, you want a part 2, you want more of these stories, then we dip into Vaughan. This is unreal,
we
guys.
can
I'm
get
telling
into
you.
the serious shit.
I'm telling you, we're getting into some serious shit here. And he's going to tell me a load of shit off camera. But yeah, this is mad. Vaughan, I've loved this, absolutely loved it. And it's been a pleasure to spend an hour and a half with you, mate.
Thank you, man. We're going to shake on
You're
that.
a gentleman.
Peace and love.
Gentleman.
Always.
Proper
Peace
gentleman.
and love, and may the funk be with you.
Respect to everyone. Nice one, Vaughan. Take it easy, mate. Good man. Mate, where you
You
going?
got to clap me on fucking...
Fucking hell. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Can you do us a favour and subscribe to the channel? It's totally free and it massively helps our show. Cheers guys.